Let's talk about ramps. What are ramps? Ramps are the time in which you can talk into a track before you hit the post. So you can set ramps. You need to set these manually. There's no really good automatic way to do it. Ramps are stored in the track properties. They're actually stored in the tracks themselves, so that when you edit any track properties for that matter, you can move them from one Mac to another, from one computer to another, and the track properties will be kept with the tracks. So you can do your track prep on a different Mac and bring it onto an on-air Mac and load them up there. So you might remember track properties. We had different settings in the track properties. Now, many of these were set by track prep. For instance, the trims, the overlap, the fade in, fade out, that sort of thing. But ramp is one of those you have to set yourself. Now, ramp has two functions for you. One for live. It tells you how far into the track you can talk. For instance, this track coming up has 31 seconds you can talk into it before the music gets to a point where you go, okay, not good to talk anymore, let's let the music play. But it also has a function for automation, and in particular for voiceovers and voice work. We do have a piece of voice work coming up here. It's a voiceover. This checkbox indicates it's a voiceover, and it was sent this way by scheduler to be a voiceover. So when that gets a little bit closer, maybe we'll turn on the audio and check that out and listen to how that works. But for right now, let's take a look at a way we can actually set ramps. Well, you can set ramps. I could hit the ramp button right here and set a new ramp time for this track that's playing right now. But it's probably better to bring in whatever new music you've brought in, bring it into the library and set the ramps there, and you can do it off air. So you can do it on a copy of Radiologik on another computer, or you can do it on the on-air computer. I'm going to bring in some recent tracks. Well, let me get that right. This is the album, part of the album, for which I have some tracks. Bring those in. Now, I've already set the ramps on these, but I could do this off air. So these are going on air. Remember in the preferences on the audio I/O, the library track properties and pre-listen, we put this to an off-air device. I'm going to actually have it on the on-air device. That way you actually hear it in the video. And so you can go through these, play these tracks, and when you hear the where you want the ramp to be set, that's where you hit the ramp button. And there's some quick fast forward and 5 seconds and backwards 5 seconds parts in here as well. So let's give a try to setting a ramp for this track. It's already set to 9.5, but I'm going to set it by my ear here. Okay, so that was an indication. It was me just basically making a decision about where that ramp should be based on how the song sounded. There were no vocals starting there. Let's try this one. Okay, so that one I put the ramp really when the music came up to a crescendo there and really got its full energy. Let's take this one and see how this works out. This one, the ramp's much further in, I set it, so let's see how this works. I'm going to try fast forwarding through it to get there faster. Okay. So I set that one. Let's find one that actually might have vocals in it. Let's try this one. So I got that pretty close. I could reset the whole thing right now and make it 0. We know it's going to be around 33 or so, and we'll try doing it as if we didn't have anything set for it to begin with. shortly. Alright, and with that you can see that little backwards button helped us go back, review what was going on, and get that ramp a little bit better. So that is probably one of the best way to set ramps. So if you just are adding tracks, you could go through your whole library, get all these done. But whenever you want to add tracks to your library, bring in that subset of tracks and do the ramps for them as well. And they'll be all set up for a transition like this one coming up now.
All trance, all day, all night. You're listening to Radiologik Trance.
So you probably saw it was very quick there that the voiceover work was playing while the next track was being introduced, and this track was actually ducked down as it played over it. I do have the duck on a little bit further down than I would normally have for a radio station. I might have it up maybe around 33% or so that you actually hear more music in the background, but I have the duck lower here so that you can hear me better in the video. By the way, the duck value is in the preferences, general. Right there, voiceover ducking. You can set it to whatever value you want it to be.